All right, hello, fight fans, and we are live. I'm here with Dustin. It's me, Alec, your general co-host. Monique is out today; she's got a work obligation. So it's going to be me and Dustin giving all of the fight news to you. There's no fights this weekend, unfortunately, so there's not a. We can't say Happy Fight Week like we normally do, but there is some huge breaking news today, and just some great news and headlines we're going to touch on in general. As always, guys, you can follow me at AlexTDCar on that's my personal account. Always tell you, I got my wacky, crazy Philadelphia nonsense ideas coming out of that account. Ben Simmons trade scenarios are hot and heavy right now. Got to go get Damian Lillard. Then we got, you can follow me at 4th and 26 Sports as well. We are Philadelphia. We're retweeting headlines. We're trying to get our shit together about the podcast. Just trying to bang down some schedules, and hopefully we'll have the Philadelphia podcast back to you guys as soon as possible. But for right now, we're just retweeting headlines, getting sporting news out there as quickly as possible, so everybody and anyone can see it. And then, as always, you can follow us at Fights Unwrapped. What's bringing you here? It's why you're here. It's why you're watching us. Tell your friends. Tell your family. Tell your uncle, tell everybody you can, because Fights Unwrapped is the number one place to get your fighting news. And I'm just trying to be a little unbiased, but why wouldn't you love us? Also, follow Unwrapped Sports Network. It's what brings me guys like me and Dustin and even Monique and a bunch of other. I was just on fellow Unwrapped Sports, Aaron Washington's podcast. Done some hoops unwrapped stuff, and just lots and lots and lots of content coming out of Unwrapped Sports Network. I tell you guys this all the time. You want news in Chicago? We got a guy in Chicago. You want news in New York? We got a guy in New York. You want news in Miami? We got a guy in Miami. So all local news, all local opinions. It's fantastic. There's a reason why I'm so excited to be part of this network. So please, please, please follow and tell everybody about Unwrapped Sports Network. And with that, Dustin, I will let you introduce yourself and give your plugins. All right?
What's up, everybody? I'm obviously Dustin. You can read it on the screen. Add No Censor Sports. I guess I'm a jack of all sports as well. Football, basketball, baseball. I'm a little bit on the funnier side. I like to just kind of rag on people sometimes. I'll throw out a good take every once in a while. But yeah, basically that's it, man. And everything you said, I'm a part of every one of those departments, and yeah, we got guys everywhere. So it's easy.
Yeah, we got some quick chime-ins real quick. We got Perry saying it's a boys' show tonight. It is. So we do miss Monique greatly and dearly. She will be back next week, though, so no worries. But yes, it is a boys' show tonight. And now, of course, we got to pay our bills. We got to talk about our sponsors. So please, guys, first one, check out rxhemp.com and please use rxhemp-usn to get 10% off your entire order. RX Hemp makes some great, great, great products. If you love working out, but you're not as athletic as you used to be like I am, RX Hemp will help you recover faster. It will give you that recovery time. I promise you it will. It works for me. And it works for Carlos Condit. UFC, I don't know about great, but really, really good UFC fighter. Love us. We love ourselves some Carlos Condit at Fights Unwrapped. Guy always puts on a war, and he is an avid supporter of RX Hemp. So please, again, rxhemp.com. Use rxhemp-usn to get 10% off your entire order. Next one. As you guys know, I don't really gamble that much. Monique is the gambler. I actually don't know if Dustin is a big gamble head, but you can visit mybookie.ag today. Use promo code USN100 for 100% sign-up bonus. Their match will sign-up bonus. We don't have fights this weekend. It is not a fight week, like I said, but we have some huge fights coming up on deck. We got Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier coming up. Not this weekend, but the next. I'm super excited about that. I know everybody's excited about that. Sugar Sean O'Malley, another Fights Unwrapped favorite, is on that card. So I know all you betting fans everybody that loves to gamble will be betting on that card. So please, mybookie.ag today. And I think that's all we got for our sponsors. So we're going to start off with a little lesser news. We're not going to jump right into the breaking news because we don't want to overwhelm our viewers all at once. So we have a very upset fighter in Giga Giga. He's at the featherweight division. We all know he's running up the ranks right now. He's destroying everybody he fights, coming off a decisive win against Cub Swanson. But rumors keep coming out. He keeps getting offered fights. He keeps signing the dotted line, but no one else will. So Giga is really pissed off. He is not a happy camper. He said he was even willing to step up to welterweight to fight. That's a little extreme for me. That's 2 weight classes. I don't know if he could do it, but he called out Wonderboy. Giga's crazy. We all know he loves his call out. So he called out Wonderboy. I'd love to see that fight personally. I know Giga would be a little out of his element at 170, but that would be 2 kickboxers, 2 monsters going at each other in the sport. One young up-and-comer and another Stephen Wonderboy who's just he's like a fine wine. He just keeps getting better and better and better. Dustin actually in our pre-chat fight, our pre-chat 2 fights unwrapped, came up with a great idea, and Dustin, I want you to talk about it because I think it's fantastic. I think it should happen.
I agree with the take about 170. First of all, gaining 20 pounds. I mean, not saying he doesn't walk around at probably about 170-ish. I wouldn't say he was. He's a big dude. He'd probably over that. But at the same time, fighting at that weight's different. You know, the cardio is different. The strength is different. You react differently the more weight you put on and you fight with. But when you if you can't go 170, but 155, I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't really see anybody backing down from him. I mean, none of those guys are small. If you want a top 10 guy, I don't know about that. I don't know if he's ever gonna get that. First of all, his call outs are in the wrong place, in my opinion. Should be 170. It actually should be those guys he's saying aren't signing the dotted line. Because I hate when stuff comes out and they don't put out, like, if you're gonna call people out, I want to know who didn't sign the line. I want to know that. I want them called out. Because that just makes more sense to call out than Wonderboy. Wonderboy is top 4. He's going to fight, and I think he's in the co-main, and he's probably a fight away from a title shot. Let's not call out Stephen Wonderboy. So, therefore, I mean, 155, though, I mean, no one's going to back down. He'll get a fight easy at 155, especially if he's got a big name like he does. He's been winning fights. One of these young guys in the top 15 would gladly take him. So, therefore, especially 155, it's sharks in the water. I mean, dude, you got to fight great guys up and down that division. So, therefore, 155 is his best spot if these guys are denying him.
Yeah, I mean, we'll just go through it. Nothing's been confirmed, of course, because the UFC and Dana White doesn't confirm any rumors because he's Dana White and he's kind of a jerk. Just kidding. If you're listening, Dana, I might not agree with you, but please shout out the show because we would love that and it would be huge for us. But you were kind of a jerk. Yair Rodriguez is rumored to have denied a Chikaze fight. And Calvin Kattar has been rumored to have denied a Giga fight, which is just, those are 2 names that doesn't shock anybody if they did. Yair Rodriguez has got his sights on better things. What?
Has he ever missed weight at 145? I mean, does he cause a problem?
No, he's never. He's just a scary dude, man. He's just a scary dude.
If you're gonna fight, if you go through 145, the top guys in that division are scary. Like there's not one that's not scary. I mean,
I know that big victory off of Cub Swanson does not, and it's not like he's calling for a title fight. That's what's interesting. He's not asking for a title fight yet. He knows that he doesn't need a title fight yet, and he knows he doesn't deserve a title fight yet. He just wants to fight one of the guys in the top 5, which I totally understand. He hasn't lost since 2018, and he impressively beat a really hot Cub Swanson. So, in my opinion, he definitely deserves a top 5 guy. And just to your point about a 155 fighter, I mean, I'd love to see him against Tony Ferguson. I'd love to see him against RTA. I don't think this is a real thing that's ever going to happen. I think Giga's going to get a fight soon in his division. I think we'll see a Cater fight, probably, or maybe somebody just below the top five, like Dan Ige, maybe something like that, just to get him active again. I think that's all he really wants. He just wants to get active again. He's the kind of guy that hates sitting around. He just wants to fight.
First of all, he wants to get paid. Also, I mean, if he's not fighting, he's not. I mean, it's that simple.
Yeah. I mean, me and you both have strong opinions about fighter pay, and we disagree on some points, but we both agree on the main point: these fighters deserve to get paid more money. That's just down and simple. And you're right. He does want to get paid. He wants to stay active. He constantly wants to get paid. But he also he is a fighter's fighter. The guy just wants to fight, and he wants to beat the shit out of people.
Actually, in one of our topics, I'm bringing up fighter pay in one of our topics later, so you'll hear that.
Yeah, and I'm going to bring it up anyway too. So we're probably going to bring it up in the same topic. So before we get to the breaking news, we're going to talk about one more thing. We're going to it's kind of a segue into our breaking news because it's the same guy has to deal with it. We had a very, very impressive victory this weekend. Dane, Gane, whatever you want to call him, apparently goes by both because it seems like different announcers call him different things.
He's French, so his name's Gane, but people.
Yeah. People just it's America. We say what we want when we want. Coming off a very impressive win against Volkov, he proved me wrong. I couldn't be happier to be proven wrong. This is a guy that you all know, and Dustin knows, and Monique knows, and anybody I can talk to about fighting knows. I am a huge fan of this guy. He is young, he is hot, he is coming up quick, and he's rising amongst the ranks. And we had this great plan to talk about the heavyweight division and where it goes with Cyril Gane coming up and beating the Volkov because it is a huge victory. Before we get into the picture of the heavyweight, what did you think about the fight? Because I do want to do a little recap on this because I thought Gane put on a fucking show. Just a fucking show.
I'll tell you, it's closer than some people may think. I think that Volkov did a good job. He almost won that fight. He was there. It wasn't like he got destroyed. He was there. He was definitely the fighter that went down the pipe more. But again, Gane, he's a very technical striker. He doesn't let you just hit him. So when you go down the pipe, he's gonna pretty much. I mean, he's gonna move out the way. He's gonna shift. He's gonna duck. I mean, he's gonna do a lot of things. So therefore, he's not gonna let you just touch him. Now Volkov got him plenty of times. I'm not saying he didn't because he hit him hard. I said this in the chat. If Nagano would have touched him about 2 or 3 of those, he would have been dead. I'm gonna just put it that way.
There was one, just to interrupt real quick, that there was one moment where Gane did get rocked in I think it was the 3rd round. Volkov landed a clean right hook to the jaw, and it looked like it might be over because he got rocked. He recovered quickly though, but keep going.
But I mean, with him, like I said, Nagano, I don't think would have just rocked him. He would have gave him some baby deer legs. That's just my opinion. That would have been a hard shot from Nagano. But again, he was such a technical striker. He didn't get to use his wrestling much because Volkov is so big. It's hard to get that dude down. He's too heavy. It's very hard to pick him up. Yeah. So therefore, he's just too big. But I mean, he pulled out that fight and he put on a good fight, man. He won the fight, but Volkov, he almost got him. He was about 3 rounds to 2. I mean, they were there.
Yeah, I agree with you too. I'm not on the Gane totally annihilated Volkov. He did put on a very impressive fight. He had a game plan of hitting him with combos, getting in, getting out. There were points in the fight, not the whole fight, but there were points where I was thinking, God, when he's on point, Gane, he looks like a heavyweight Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. It's crazy. It's to be that light and that quick on your feet at that weight and that height. It's insane to me. But you're right. It was a very close fight. Volkov was in almost every round. I think it was the 4th round that Gane, or it was the 2nd or the 4th because it wasn't the 3rd. Anyway, there was one round in the fight where Gane absolutely did win. There was no question about it. But other than that,
the second and third.
I think that's why he won the fight, because there was that one round where you can say, I can give that to Gane. The rest of the fight was really close. Volkov is not going away. This is not the last we've seen of him. And he proved that. He came back from, I was so worried about the fight because of that accidental eye poke towards the end. I was like, no! We're going to see another no contest. But thankfully, we got the great Herb Dean, who was like, no, we're not having any of that shit.
Remember we were talking about those leg kicks? And I told you that he would get them with them? Dude, did you see how well he ate those? Like, his leg was red, bro, and he was still standing on that leg. Like, he did not.
Oh yeah, his front leg, his front leg was beat to shit. His knee was the same size as his quad. It was insane.
He was literally doing flying knees while that was hurt. Like, I'm saying, like, that it don't affect him as much as people thought. That dude has some hard shins, man. He's a Muay Thai fighter.
He also took the legs away from Volkov by attacking the legs as well. He was laying down some heavy leg kicks himself, which people.
Volkov is very flat-footed. He's very flat-footed though. He doesn't bounce, so he can
not bounce. You're right, but there was Volkov. All I'm saying is Volkov's leg, his own legs were pretty beat up. But it was a really, really impressive win. I love Cyril Gane. I have been like president of the fan club for him, so I couldn't be happier. And that brings us to our next topic and our last topic, because it's actually going to go, like Dustin said, probably into 3 other topics in it. Because we were planning on talking about the heavyweight division, because Gane beating Volkov could have jumped him up into fighting, Stipe is what I said immediately after the fight. Let's get him against Stipe. Winner of that gets the next title shot. That's what I would have loved to see. But apparently Dana had other plans. Dana White, as always, had other plans. And we got Gane versus Derek Lewis for the interim belt August 7th on UFC 265. Yeah, we got a shocking announcement today, where UFC 265 is going to be headlined with a heavyweight interim bout. It's going to be a great fight either way, no matter what you say. But it is shocking. It doesn't make sense. Just to go over a little bit of what happened. And then I'll give it away to Dustin, let him rant, because I have a rant ready and teed up to go to, but I'll let you go first. But before we get into that, let's just break down what happened real quick. So Gane beats Volkov this Saturday. Everybody's all hyped up on Gane, right? We got people saying Gane should fight Ngannou, fuck Derek Lewis. We got Gane should fight Stipe. We got Gane should fight John Jones. I even saw one website say, which is just fucking stupid. But we had all this Gane train coming out of nowhere, because he did put on an impressive victory. But then we don't know that, because Derek Lewis and Ngannou had never been confirmed, and there's a reason for that apparently, and that reason is Francis Ngannou was demanding more money, and Dana White, after what it appears to be is after the Gane victory, Dana White said, "Fuck off, we're doing an interim belt." Francis Ngannou is not happy. His exact words on Twitter, he hasn't made an official vocal statement. He just made a Twitter statement. It was saying, "I remember my interim title fight against Jairzinho. Oh, wait, because it never happened. That should have been an interim belt, but it didn't happen." So, I'm going to give it away to you because I know you got strong opinions on this. I got strong opinions on this. I might interrupt you and talk and get some points in, but I'm going to let you take it away for a little bit because I know both of us probably on the final points agree that this is fucking insane and stupid. But Dustin, take it away.
Okay, so it's not that I don't like this fight. If they would have made it not an interim fight, I probably would have been cool with it. Like, it would have set me aside, like, all right, whatever. He's fighting Derek Lewis. Cool. I mean, he's a top 10 heavyweight. Whatever. It's the fact that he pissed Ngannou off, which made this happen. First of all, Ngannou didn't want to fight Lewis. I'm telling you that right now. I'll tell you, he didn't care to fight Lewis. I don't think he wanted to because he already whooped. I'm sorry, he already beat him. Like he wants a bigger fighter. He wants somebody that he hasn't touched. He wants somebody that's a little bit more up there that can give him a big PPV. Larry Lewis ain't the one, in my opinion. I don't think he's going to drive up Ngannou's popularity. It's not going to happen. But here's my thing. The reason I don't like this fight is because I think Gane's going to win, number one. Gane, he's just going to win because he's not a brawler. Lewis has one trick. I mean, I'm just going to be honest. Like, he's going to beat him. So I'm pretty confident in that. And the second reason is because if you don't want to give guys like Ngannou or John Jones or these guys fighter pay, if you don't want to raise their value, you don't want to raise their purses, what the hell are we doing? You know, what the hell are we doing? You want these guys to be ultra successful. You want these guys to rise in the ranks. You want to make more money. You got to spend it to make it. You know, like these big fighters don't want to fight for chump change anymore, man. Like, I'm sorry to break that to you, but they're seeing these fight purses from other fights, and they're like, dude, I'm out here getting beat up by like the top 3 guy in the world. I'm out here making what the guy on the co-main event does on a boxing fight with 10 rounds. You know, these guys aren't okay with that anymore, and they shouldn't be. Like, they're world champions, and they shouldn't be sitting over here being paid like dirt. And they are paid like dirt. I don't care. If you look at the purses next to other combat sports, they're paid like trash. They get like 7% of the UFC's revenue. That is crazy. That's crazy. And the whole reason Jones isn't fighting Ngannou is because of that. If they would have set up that $10 million purse like they asked for, we wouldn't even be talking. This wouldn't even be a thing. If they would have set up a fight, they'd have made a PPV, 100% sellout at the gate. Everybody would have bought that fight. Everybody and their brother would have bought that fight. And you're going to tell me that you can't pay
I might have bought it twice. I might have bought the fight twice just for kicks and gigs.
Literally, dude, I'm hands down buying that fight. I'm hands down buying it. If it comes out hands down, I don't care. Like, it's being bought. Like, I don't get what he doesn't get. I don't get what he doesn't. No one wants to see Ngannou against him, against Lewis. And honestly, no one wants to see Ngannou against Gane right now. He's not there yet. He hasn't beat guys yet. He hasn't gone through step. He hasn't gone through the guys that are at the top. So therefore, no one wants to see him jump in there with Ngannou like that. So therefore, dude, you gotta just start paying some money. I don't know what to tell you, but you need to start paying some money because these guys are saying no.
Yeah, and you know, I agree with you about 100%. As always, me and Dustin, for those who are not privy to our fight chats, me and Dustin pretty much agree on everything. We just like to fight over the little things. But you're absolutely right, and I agree, and I think any fight fan in the world out there would agree. The UFC pays their fighters the most amongst MMA promotions, which means you're much right. Which you're pretty much like paying. It's like being the brokest guy in a shelter, being the richest guy in a shelter. You know what I mean? Like it's absolutely nothing compared to the like boxing. And then the UFC is making way more money than any boxing promotion out there. It's hand over fist. I just looked it up. There was $7 billion. It's just fucking insane to me. I could rant about. In fact, I'm going to just go ahead and throw this up here because I'm probably going to rant about this for a little bit. This is fucking insane. This has to stop. Dana White, you are going to ruin the UFC. You have built this company. You have done a great job building this company. You have taken the whole idea of you're a marketer, not a promoter. You are a marketer, and you market your company and you market your fights. You don't promote them. To amazing levels. You have taken UFC as far as you can. But if you do not start to pay these guys, They are going to fucking leave. It's just that simple. John Jones came out late in the week last week and said, I will fight whenever I damn well please. He went from asking for just $15 to $20 million for one of the biggest fights in UFC history. What would have been one of the biggest fights in UFC history. He asked for not even the most money ever. And you said no. And he went from that to I don't want to fight it for you anymore. I just don't care. You made one of the greatest fighters of all time apathetic about your promotion. Think about that for a second. We might have these views about John Jones about how there's outside the octagon shit came into the inside the octagon, but just think about that for a second. Think about if Roger Goodell made Tom Brady not care about football, because that's what Dana White has done to John Jones. He has made him not care about being one of the greatest of all time. It's insane. It's disgusting. And it's going to kill the UFC. And then we're going to see fighters leave and go to other promotions. And all of a sudden, we're going to have not one. See, there's a huge. I love having all the other promotions out there, but there's a huge benefit to having one major promotion that's better than the rest, because you see most of the best fight against the best. That's just in general terms. You usually do. You have the best fighters. You have most of the best fighters, if not all of them. And now we're going to see if this continues, and I don't think it will. I think something's going to happen where Dana White gets some duty stripped of him because he is not the pure owner anymore. He's actually a minority owner of the company, of the UFC promotion. So we might see Dana White get stripped of duties because this is just getting fucking insane. Guys like John Jones, guys like Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou was set to be a superstar, and you fucking blew it. Like, you fucking blew it. This guy was going to take over the heavyweight division. There is nothing more to get casual fight fans involved than promoting the hell out of a heavyweight division. We saw it in boxing in the 60s. We saw it in the 70s. We saw it in the 80s and the 90s. And even the fucking early 2000s. It was huge because the heavyweight division was fucking ginormous. Okay, and you had that opportunity with Francis Ngannou, and you blew it.
Can I explain something to people that might not know why boxing makes more money? So the reason why boxing, so look up Canelo's purse, look up Floyd Mayweather purses, look up Cotto purses, Pacquiao purses, all these bigger guys in that sport. You know why they turn out with $40 to $50 million? Just take a guess why. Or Floyd making 300, or these guys making 150 million. Conor made 100 million. You know why? It's because these promoters and these people trying to put on this PPV and get a piece of it have to literally bid. They have to beat each other. They don't control the salaries. The reason why these fighters make so much money is because people are bidding. They're literally having to fight to put this on. They're having to fight. These are why these boxers are getting paid buku dollars. It's because they're thoughtful. It's competitive. The UFC basically strangles the MMA community. So they're going to be just like anybody else. If they heighten their pay, they're going to make more room for other promotions to do so. So the further they do that, the further the rest of the sport does it. But Dana holds such a strong hold on the fighter cap, what they get paid, is the reason why they're not getting paid. I'm just putting that out there. That's the reason why they make less in MMA. It's because of people like Dana White. It's literally like
And for those who don't realize it, we have fighters who fight for the UFC who are living in their cars. We have fighters who fight for the UFC who have a cot in their gym. Like that. This is actually happening. These are true stories that is actually happening. This isn't like, and it's not even rare. Like, it's not even rare. The prelim fighters get paid, if they're lucky, $5,000. If they're lucky. That's just the fact of the matter. And this is just, you gotta pay your top guys. And I'm actually disgusted with some of the top guys in the UFC. Now, none of them have the balls to take this on. They all agree that they need bigger fight pay, that they need to get paid more, but none of them have the balls to do it.
But you know why some of them get it? Is because there's ass kissers in the UFC that sit there and be like, well, you should just fight. You should complain. When you have ass kissing big fighters, you're not going to get paid because they're just going to replace you. That's how it goes.
Right.
If you have ass kissers, that's what's going to happen.
And it goes beyond that too. It's because they don't want money taken away from them. They're being selfish.
Like they won't, though.
Right. It would only help them, except for they might get out of favor with Dana White. Which, if you're big enough, if you're Conor McGregor, who has started, and I used to be the biggest Conor McGregor fan. He came out and talked about fighter pay once. And he said, Fighters Union's probably a good idea, but we can't do it yet.
Conor got his money. Conor got his money. You know why Conor got his money? Because without Conor, the UFC would have been shit the past 5 to 6 to 7 years. I'll tell you that right now.
I don't know about shit, but it wouldn't be what it is. It wouldn't be what it is.
The sport would not have grown like it has without Conor McGregor.
Right. It would not have exploded. I mean, if you go back and watch and actually do the research, and I do want to write an article about this, so keep your eyes out for it, everybody. If you go back and do the research, which I've done a lot of, Conor McGregor's, the UFC numbers after Conor McGregor's first title fight fucking exploded. He is. You might not think he's one of the greatest fighters of all time, and there's a solid argument that he's not one of the greatest fighters of all time, and I won't argue that hard against you. But he is on the Mount Rushmore of fighting because of what he did for MMA.
He's not the greatest, but he's there. I mean, he's in the top 5.
He's the most impactful fighter of all time. Anyway, we're not going to do a Conor McGregor show. I didn't try to start a Conor McGregor show. My point is that Conor, the great, almighty, all-powerful Conor McGregor, actually came out and said something once and hasn't said shit since. That was 3 years ago. 3 years ago he said something, hasn't said shit since. And if you notice,
Paul did. Jake Paul called out. You know? He was like, "You pay fighters like shit."
It is just absolutely disgusting. I hate it. And you know what? I'm being honest. That fight, Derek Lewis, you said it perfectly. Derek Lewis versus Gane is a great fight. It's the next logical fight for Gane, even. But not for an interim title. There's no reason for an interim title because fucking Francis Ngannou's not even hurt. He's sitting there healthy at home waiting for a fight.
He's sitting there ready. He's ready, healthy and trained.
Yeah. He's been in fight camp. He's been getting ready for Derek Lewis because this, and just so everybody knows, this Derek Lewis versus Gane fight was supposed to be Ngannou versus Derek Lewis on the same date. So Derek Lewis and Francis Ngannou have been training. Well, maybe not Derek Lewis because he doesn't really train that much. It's probably part of the reason why he can never win a title. But you said it perfectly. The fight within itself, it's a good fight. It's the next logical step for Gane. But can you survive against one of the most, if not the most powerful guy in the division? And if you can, then you maybe get a title fight. But this being an interim belt is an absolute joke. It's disgusting. And it is the main event now, which means Amanda Nunes gets pushed down to co-main. Amanda Nunes gets pushed down to co-main for an interim belt. This is so... Amanda... I cannot say enough of how much I love Amanda Nunes.
Who is she fighting?
She's fighting Juliana Pena.
That's why.
So I get it. I understand Amanda Nunes. All of her fights are... It's hard to make her the main event because she's just going to beat who's ever in there. But
whoop her ass.
It is pound for pound, men's and women's, pound for pound, top 3, if not the number 1 fighter in the UFC. And to have her now in the main event, it's for an interim fight that shouldn't even be happening for an interim belt. It's fucking disgusting. It talks about, it gets into all kinds of things, and me and Monique talk about this all the time. We're not afraid to talk about the heavy issues, but it talks about all kinds of things about where the world's at that I'm not going to get into, that Dana White thought he could just easily push down one of the greatest fighters in MMA history, so that he could have an interim belt over Gane, who's probably too soon for his title fight, and Derek Lewis, who doesn't really even, in my opinion, deserve another title shot because he doesn't even want it himself. So I think this is just insane. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I'll get all amped up for the fight. Don't worry, guys. I always do. I love fight week. I love fight night, but this stuff is just getting exhausting. It makes you not want to watch sometimes. I don't know about you, but it does. It makes me not want to watch sometimes. All right. So we actually don't have any other topics. This is a quick headline show. I do want to talk about what's coming up, though, because we have some pretty big fights coming up. We got UFC 264 coming up. Which is the Dustin. Yeah.
I have a little audio issue. I'm going to get off for a second. You might have to finish out.
Oh, that's fine. We're wrapping up. If you need to go, man.
All right. I'm going to have to leave out because I'm having a big audio issue right now.
All right, man. See you. All right. Dustin's backing out because he's having audio issues, but it's perfect timing because we just finished the show. I just want to give you a preview of what we're going to be talking about in the upcoming weeks. We got UFC 264 coming up. Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier. Gilbert Burns versus Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Wonderboy's back. Again, another unwrapped fight unwrapped favorite. We love Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. I'm so excited for that fight because if he wins, he gets a title shot. Much deserved. We got Tai Tuivasa on that fight going up against Greg Hardy. Greg Hardy, who really cares. And we got Sugar Sean O'Malley returning against Smolka. So big fight card. We even got some Carlos Condit on the prelims. It's fucking crazy. And then we got McKay versus Thiago Moises after that. And we got Sandhagen versus Dillashaw on a fight night. I can't believe it. After that, July 24th. And then wrapping up July 31st, we got Uriah Hall versus Sean Strickland. I foresee some fights getting added to this card. I don't know, but Uriah Hall and Sean Strickland will be headlining that event. So we go on a little light fight at the end of the month, but July is certainly stacked coming up with fights. I'm excited. Kicking off July with one of the biggest fights in UFC history with McGregor versus Dustin 3. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun, and that leads us right into the dreaded UFC 265, which we've been talking about all night, with Gane versus Derek Lewis on August 7th. With that, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. Love you all. Wouldn't be here without you. Please, like I always say, follow us at Fights Unwrapped. Follow me at AlexTDCarb. Please at me if you didn't like or agree with anything I said. Please let me know. Let's fight about it. I love getting in fights. I love getting in Twitter battles. So please at me. You can also follow me at 4th and 26 Sports, as well as please follow Unwrapped Sports Network. Again, I can't stress enough how great it is. It's bringing us me and Dustin and a bunch of us all together. We got basketball, baseball, football, of course. We got fights, we got hockey, we got everything. Anything that you want to talk about, anything you want to know, all from legitimate sports guys, giving their opinions, giving their facts. So please give us all a like at Unwrapped Sports and tell everybody about it, because why not? With that, I'm going to say good night, guys. Love you all. Not happy fight week. I almost slipped up. It's not a fight week, but thanks for joining in. Thanks for watching. I'll see y'all next week.